Okay, finally, Jesus. Okay, that took forever. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Chessbait Drivecast, your one-stop shop for kind of controversial topics, kind of controversial opinions. I'm pretty sure this is going to be coming around New Year's, not exactly on it, but around it. So, Happy New Year's to everybody who is watching this. Obviously, considering that this is a Spider-Man No Way Home review, obviously spoilers are going to exist, but let's be real. Like by the time this video comes out, a lot of people who want to watch the movie have probably watched the movie, but look, there's been plenty of reviews online already from independent YouTube creators, talking about YouTube reviews. Blueyoshi, I will allow you to come into the speakers if you so wish, and let's just have a good time. Wow, Spider-Man is insane. Blueyoshi, I don't know why you left, but here you go. Spider-Man is insane. Everything that people have complained about any Spider-Man movie ever has been completely fixed in this movie. I'm just gonna say that like right off the bat. It blew a sheet. You
Okay,
good?
sorry, it wasn't letting me join for a second, so
Okay, cool. So yeah, everything that people complained about in the previous Spider-Man movies, whether that be the Raimi trilogy, the Raimi trilogy, or even the MCU, this movie like fixes every single problem.
I honestly really loved the movie when I went to see it the other
The,
day.
the nice thing is that if you like Tom Holland, there's plenty of Tom Holland. If you like Andrew Garfield, there's plenty of Andrew Garfield. Also, I already said spoiler warning, so if you guys don't know that the most obvious spoiler in this movie is that the other Spider-Man exists, oh no, that's like the worst kept secret in this entire movie.
Yeah. I would
But yeah,
also like to say, Andrew Garfield, like when he's talking to the other Spider-Man when they're trying to like make all the cures and stuff, he reveals some dark things.
there's a lot of like really nice nuances that they go into. Like, not only do they show the Spider-Man, but they also say that like enough time has passed. Stuff has really gone down. The Amazing Spider-Man, Andrew Garfield, he's gone through some dark stuff. Obviously, Tobey Maguire during the movies went through some dark stuff, and he's a little more hopeful because he was able to eventually get together with MJ.
hmm Yeah, and I think Tobey Maguire's path went down a better path than it did in Andrew Garfield's path because obviously, like I just said, he had revealed some dark stuff, but it
The,
seems like um Toby's Spider-Man worked some stuff out with MJ, and
the
got
bizarre part
everything
is,
seemed fine.
it's weird how the multiverse of Spider-Man works now, just because like there's multiple Spider-Man from different timelines where they're all different variants. That technically shouldn't exist but do because of the whole timeline shenanigans that happened in Loki and such. But
hmm
you also got to realize that like because these timelines exist, there's also multiple branching timelines where like the different villains become evil at different stages and all have to go back home to different parts of that timeline.
Yeah,
It's
and
really confusing how the timeline all fits together. It doesn't, but we just pretend it does.
but it's like yeah, it is super confusing because like they all get cured and then get sent home. Like, what does that do? Like, invent new timelines or
Everything's just
like?
completely out of whack.
hmm And it
One
does
thing that
kind of tie into Loki because at the end of Loki season one, also spoiler warning for that, I'm gonna say stuff from that. Um, he actually shows the timeline being like ripped and teared like into multiple branching realities, and like
Oh yeah,
what if like something from that it has something to do with it?
like the whole King the Conqueror thing, because there's so many timelines branching out now. Like everything's just gonna be going insane.
hmm
It feels weird how quickly we went from like time travel to like there's so many universes now. Like we have to
hmm
deal with all of them at once.
Spider-Man into the Spider-Verse universe? Question
And the
mark.
funny thing is, Spider Verse references the Tobey Maguire trilogy of Spider Man. So technically, that Peter Parker that died in Spider Verse is Tobey Maguire, but
But
like
in a different timeline.
also in a different timeline. Like the way that Sony treats all the Spider Man films is just so confusing because everything connects to each other in such a wacky, just
Odd
a
way.
yeah
Yeah, and
yeah.
like I find it like the movie for me like was really good. What did you think about it? Like you said, it was like
I give it a
solved a lot of
9.5 out
things.
of 10. I'm just gonna say that off the bat. It's not a 10. There's a lot of things holding it back from being a 10, but like 9.5. Like there's so many things. When the movie does one thing wrong, it gets like three other things right, and it's amazing how they were able to not only make not only make Tom Holland Spider-Man like such a better character, but also have him embody that Spider-Man feeling so much better.
And also that new suit at the end.
Because
That one,
the entire
it's a
point of the thing was kind of an origin story to show how long it took for Tom Holland Spider-Man to finally be poor. He started out with Stark and all that, was able to have all these super advanced suits and all, but eventually he had to sacrifice it all just so he can become Spider-Man, which is kind of insane to think about.
Also, can we just talk about the end of the movie for a second? One, I'm now calling that movie a Christmas movie just because it has a Christmas song and there's takes place at Christmas during the very end. Two, the
No,
PS4 apartment's in there. Like the PS4 game apartment is the apartment he's in.
oh, is that actually what that was?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's funny. I mean, to be fair, Sony was also like throwing down a bunch of PS4 games down our throat. Sorry, PS5 games down our throat. Because if you look at certain scenes, like you could just see like a stack of full of PlayStation games just in the
Mm-hmm.
background. Which I mean, I get it. It's Sony. They want to do what they want to do.
Yeah. They gotta advertise their stuff.
It feels weird that Tom Holland is gonna continue becoming Spider-Man because like this is basically his origin story. We've just got back to square one.
Mm-hmm.
Like we
And,
went
and there's
from
already a fourth one in production, so that's probably gonna be like after this, trying to get his life back together, I guess, like trying to get his friendships
because
back together.
the thing is like everything's kind of gone back to the status quo because now Spider-Man, his parental figure is dead, aka Uncle Ben slash
Aunt
Aunt
May.
May, but also um what's it called? He's poor, he's all alone, he's living in a bad apartment. J. Jonah Jameson is still crapping on him despite not knowing who Spider-Man actually is. Like this is basically going back to like the roots of the comics.
Yeah.
Like I really appreciate that. The fact that
hmm
they're able to just go back to formula, I guess.
Yeah, one of my friends talks about like all the Marvel comics a lot and how they don't really relate to the MCU at all. He's probably gonna like that movie.
That's the thing. This movie not only has a really good story, but it also has oh crap! I just realized I need to make a U-turn here. Not only does it have a really good story, but it also ties into the comics just as well. So it's able to um, make like everyone happy at once. The people
hmm
who want the movies to be more based on the comics, this is like basically going back to the comics as much as possible because Spider-Man is now a what's it called? He's back by himself. Like I said, he lost essentially everything, but at the same time, it's also a really good high school slash college movie where Tom Holland Spider-Man gets to learn. You got to make big sacrifices if you want to do the right thing, and
hmm
sometimes it's gonna hurt. Oops, let's go this way. Sometimes it hurts trying to do so, trying to make those sacrifices. But if you're given that power, they said the quote, you're given that responsibility.
hmm I'm still like in shock of how that movie ended. Like he saw like everyone that he knew, and it was like they just treated it like, I mean, obviously that's how it was supposed to happen, but they just treated it like in the best way they could after he just gave up everything
It's
to save the
painful because
universe.
yeah, it's painful because Spider-Man finally got everything that he wants. He had his best friend for so many years. Sure, he didn't get into MIT, but he still had a girlfriend. He was in the Avengers. He had everything that he could have ever wanted, and he had to just give it up because of this one mistake that he happened to make. Which it's so tragic. It's sad.
It's like a 9 out of 10 movie or 9.5 out of 10 movie. but a sad movie at the same time because of how it ends and how Aunt May dies. Like I was really surprised by that scene because it seems like Aunt May was fine. She was getting up, she was walking around, and Peter
The
was
thing is,
talking to her. And then
the
all of a
moment
sudden, like she
the
just has a
moment I
big
knew
wound.
the moment I knew she was gonna die was when she started like repeating the same thing over and over again. Like she keeps asking like, "Oh, where am I? Like what happened?" Like she just keeps like having like short-term memory loss. I'm thinking, "Oh wait, like is that like her brain trying to like it's like going on and off and she's like trying to stay awake and conscious,
Mhm.
but like she can't stay awake because she's dying."
Yeah. And now Peter has. The sad part about this is when you think about it, the two Peters still have their Aunt May, but Tom's Peter has nobody anymore.
I mean,
And
he literally lost like almost every single father figure in his life. He lost actually that's fine. He lost Iron Man, he lost Aunt May. Happy Hogan isn't really like a mentor figure to him. Like I know like everything that happened in Far From Home, but
he's
Happy
still
is more
something to do with his life. Like he was still an important person.
yeah, Happy is kind of like the same way as Spider-Man because Tony Stark was an idol to Happy.
hmm And then he lost MJ and he lost Ned, and it was just wow, that was just sad. We go back in this movie and we think, oh man, this was a pretty sad movie, but also
the,
like amazingly good.
the insane part is apparently, if you look back at the movie after she got her memory erased, apparently she's still wearing the Black Dahlia necklace from
She is.
Far From Home. So like apparently like she's still wearing it even though she doesn't know who Peter Parker is, which means she just happened to have a broken Dahlia necklace. And she's wearing it because she knows there's someone in her life that was there, but she doesn't know who it is.
hmm
It's
And same
it's
with Ned. Like obviously he might. They never really show it, but honestly, here's one thing I'm predicting. He might have the like Lego Death Star and missing a piece or something. Like you know how he put that Emperor Palp. This is a big
I
stretch,
thought
but you know how he
I
put
thought
that
I thought
Emperor
I thought the
Palpatine.
Death Star was I thought that was Tom Holland's. Sorry, I thought that was Peter Parker's.
No, remember this is a while ago, but in Homecoming, he like, would you like, like Ned came up
Yeah,
behind him and said, "Would you like
well,
to build a Lego Death
the,
Star
the
with
reason I'm
me?"
confused about that is because Happy also had the same Death Star in his apartment, which
hmm
I'm guessing like maybe Peter Parker took it with him when he got doxxed or something. I'm in the line for Chick-fil-A, so I'm actually gonna have to mute for a moment so you can talk
Okay,
about whatever the heck you want.
all right. Uh, anyway, he's gone. I'm gonna keep doing my idea, but yeah, this is very out there, but as I realize that I'm saying this, but really like the Lego Death Star technically like Ned still has something to find because he lost that Emperor Palpatine piece and like he's like where is it? I don't know. Yeah, you know what? Just forget I said this. It's kind of stupid theory, but anyways, what does Ned have to tie with Tom? Like we know MJ has the Black Medallion necklace, but Ned has like I, nothing. Um, I mean, he might have something that we didn't see that Peter gave him. And maybe if he's friends with MJ, he's gonna, become friends with Peter again.
Do you
And
think that do you think that MJ the thing that I'm kind of confused about is Peter at the end of the movie like he doesn't say hi to MJ.
I mean, but he's trying to save it for another day. Like it would be
Like
kind of awkward to go up there and like be a like quote unquote first customer for the first time
I
to
mean
MJ.
I thought it was because he realizes that remember how he always talks about how like him telling other people that he's Spider-Man just spiraled out of control, so he decided just not to let them know who he is.
I think he didn't do that because it would be weird just to tell her like, "Oh yeah, I love you," out of the
I mean
blue. He wants to give it time, probably.
that too, but also like the whole reason the story just kind of had to reset itself is because Spider-Man's meant to be anonymous. The more that people know, like the more people that know he's Spider-Man, the more danger that they're going to end up being in, because he's basically protecting them by them not knowing who he is, just so that he doesn't have to worry about them getting in danger, you know?
Hmm. So that's uh, another thing that he probably didn't do that for.
Yeah, yeah.
Let's talk
I
more
will say
about
though,
the. Oh, let's talk
I
about the
think
villains actually in that movie. We
actually
haven't touched on them
that
yet.
reminds, yeah. So basically, I was gonna say that one thing that I really love about this movie is that it kind of makes every single other movie in all the franchises better. Like it makes the Sam Raimi trilogy, as like amazing as those movies are, it automatically makes those better.
Hmm.
Obviously the Amazing trilogy, duology, it also makes them better because it's able to use what they were given from that and kind of play off of it.
Yeah, and
And that entire
yeah.
scene where they're talking to Andrew Garfield and they're telling him, he's amazing. No matter what, how crappy he feels, he's amazing.
Hmm.
That kind of got to me. I'm gonna be real with you.
Like, oh, I fought a bunch of a purple alien in space that snapped half of all life away, including me. And then you got the step down from that. Oh yeah, I fought a black alien that took me over and like made my mind go crazy. And eventually I found out his weakness and kind of I haven't really seen the third one, but I know what it's
Yeah,
loosely is. And then
I
I
mean that's
fought him with sound waves, and then yeah, and then he's just like, look, I mean, I fought him the guy that turned into electricity, and I fought a guy that turned himself into a lizard.
yeah. I didn't really understand the lizard, if I'm being real with you. Like he's just kind of sitting there for no reason. I will say one of the only things that I don't like about this movie is how they treated Sandman, and I realized I'm going in the wrong direction, but whatever. Um,
Mhm.
like they really did not know what to do with Sandman, if I'm being real with you.
Yeah, he came up and he was like, "Here's Spider-Man, I'll help you," and
And
then
then he
he's just
just kind of
like, "I
didn't
don't like,
help.
I don't trust this dude anymore," like out of the blue.
Like I wish they added an. I wish they just added a scene where maybe like not Doc Ock, what's his name, the Green Goblin, or maybe the Lizard, or even Electro starts talking about, oh, I don't trust this dude.
Hmm.
He's kind of giving me the weird feels. I don't like you really think he's gonna fix us? He's probably just gonna just take all
Kill
the
us
power for
all.
himself, something like that. Yeah, he's
In
probably
the
just gonna send
words
them back.
of who was it? In the words of um uh I think it was Doc Ock who said it. He's just gonna kill us all or something.
Something like that.
I think
Oh,
it
that's
was
a
him.
handicap part.
I love how he became good in the end. Like he came
I
back
mean,
during the Statue of Liberty fight,
yeah. I mean,
and
the thing
like
is,
at
he was
first he
never.
seemed like he was gonna be bad, and then all of a sudden he just like takes the
I mean, he.
serum and injects it into him.
I mean, he was never going to be a villain. Like if I'm being real with you, he always was a good person. It's just the arms that kind of corrupted him, you know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And
And
I love how that worked.
I'm glad that once the arms were like kind of cured, he just thinks to himself, and because he's able to finally be calm with himself, he's able to thank Spider-Man for essentially being able to save him from the torture that he's been living with for how many
Yeah.
months.
My mind is finally free. There's no voices in my head.
Exactly. And the problem with the Green Goblin was he was kind of the opposite. Like, there was no way for you to get rid of that voice in your head unless you had that serum.
Yeah. It was really crazy how that fight went. Like he was literally about to kill him, like he did in the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. Like he kind of like
That's
quote
the
unquote
thing.
killed himself.
You can't take Tom Holland seriously because he's kind of a cartoony figure. But then you start seeing him, yeah, about just completely beating up. Um, why am I forgetting?
Beating up
Uh,
Green Goblin, and it
yeah,
just felt out of
Osborn.
character for him. Honestly,
Like just seeing him filled with absolute rage
after
felt
yeah,
it just felt weird.
hmm and
Seeing
then
him
like
actually
Toby
go
had to
through that
step in
struggle.
there.
The fact that it had to be Toby, like it makes sense, and I'm really glad that Toby was the one that was able to just step in and stop him right at the end,
Yeah,
because it was Toby that learned the same lesson just a few in one of the Spider-Man movies. Just killing
first
people is
one.
not going to help. And
I,
the
I
whole
think.
remember the scene where Tom Holland starts talking about, I'm gonna cure everybody, but the Green Goblin, I'm gonna kill him.
Yeah.
And then Tobey Maguire just starts going, no, like this is not gonna help, dude. Like it's just only gonna make it worse.
hmm
Oh man.
That was just like a. All of them together was honestly just a great scene.
I will say, John Watts, the director, it's kind of funny that he started out from like an indie film, not indie film, but he was used to making like small films, and
And then jump to this big one.
yeah,
Yeah.
like he ended up making a big jump to Spider-Man, and the first movie, Homecoming, he was able to do really well because he essentially treated the movie as an indie film. It's just a nice little high school freshman year film about a
hmm
guy who just wants to go to dance but has to deal with Spider-Man. Pretty simple stuff.
Yeah. Then you got Far From Home here, takes it up a notch. I mean, it's still
Yeah,
your
like
friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, just in a whole nother level.
yeah, it's Night Monkey. Like the one thing that I didn't like about Far From Home was that they try to do too much. Like Mysterio was an amazing villain, but Spider-Man didn't really seem like a he just wasn't really trying to do all that much. Like he's running away from his responsibilities for so long, and he didn't really fix his own problems, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But like that's completely flipped over in No Way Home, where because he made a mistake, he tries to fix it, makes another mistake, and has to make an even bigger sacrifice just to just to get back to some kind of normalcy.
Yeah. So it's just yeah, all in all, that film was amazing. Like,
Oh yeah,
oh yeah,
I'd
it was
honestly,
really good.
I'd be by the time I go home over winter break, I probably would have already seen it again. Like this is a movie that I genuinely would want to see in the movie theater again because it was an absolute wild ride.
hmm Between how like he's fighting Doctor Strange to fighting
Yeah, like
villains from different universes, and then like
like
actually
he's first
seeing
dealing
other Spider-Men.
like first you're dealing with J. Jonah Jameson and all the fake news, and then you go to Doctor Strange, and you don't deal with him for too long because I'm sorry, even not Doctor Strange. You deal with Matt Murdock for a little bit because you get to meet Daredevil for just a quick minute,
Yeah, that was cool.
and like they didn't try to like keep on him too much. They just make an appearance. He just makes an appearance as a nice lawyer, and then just pops out because there's like nothing legal going on past that.
hmm
And then, yeah, like you said, he goes to Doctor Strange. Doesn't spend too much time with that because we know that it's not a Doctor Strange movie. Spider-Man
Goes
has
all
to make his
math
own
geek on him.
yeah, like Spider-Man has to make his own decisions. And then, oh my gosh, just the way that the Sinister Six just pop up, and then some of them end up betraying him, and then the Spider Sense, like everything is just insane.
hmm I think
I'll
that
be
pretty
real.
much about wraps it up. Honestly, like that movie was good.
Like
The villains
I
were
was
good. Everyone was good.
I was kind of nervous going into the movie because
Me
I
too.
didn't really because I thought what is it? Spider-Man Homecoming was like a solid 8 or 9 out of 10. Far From Home was kind of like a 7. So I was hoping like I was really hoping that No Way Home wouldn't be like bad. Oh my gosh, like it did what it wanted to do and then did so much more on top of that.
Yeah, definitely. All right. Anyways, I gotta go, so I feel like this is a good time for you to wrap it up since we talked
Oh
about
yeah.
basically everything.
Oh yeah. I mean, for the people watching, you guys know who Blueyoshi is. I'll put his channel in either the description or the comment, whichever one I remember to do first. I mean, you guys know his channel. You guys can find it super easily.
Mhm.
Anything you want to plug before we head out?
Um, just gonna say, look out for Amphibia Season 2 right here on his channel. We're
Oh
gonna
yeah,
cover that.
we do need to record that. That's probably
Yeah.
gonna. It's a Drivecast. It's in the future. You guys don't need to worry about it. We'll see you guys next time. Peace.
See ya.